what I want to do today is show you some of the early signs of burnout that you shouldn't ignore, that I ignored. And, you know, it landed me, really unwell twice and in hospital the second time. There's going to be a few light bulbs here now. So like I said earlier, if you don't feel up to doing this, that's totally fine. But if you're feeling okay, then write a couple of notes as we go and just little reminders of things you can do for yourself later. So number one, your stress levels are out of control. I used to write it off as passion. It's actually naivety, and it was definitely borderlining obsession. So you need to work out if that's where you're going with your business and other work commitments, or if you think you've got a healthy balance. I hate the B word, but healthy balance in this context, it's okay, of what you need to do to manage all of the things that you're doing. For me, it was no balance. It was not healthy at all. So tell me in the chat box, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about stress? What's the first thing that comes to mind when I say to you, what are the biggest stresses in your life right now? If you feel comfortable, that is, just share with us. Let's see. Overwhelm, yeah. Can't focus. Foggy-headed, emotionally exhausted, yeah. Managing staff's a huge one as well, because you're not only thinking about and trying to prioritise the welfare of yourself, you're looking after other people as well, and that can be really, really tough. Cortisol, multitasking, anxiety, urgency, overworking. It's a killer. I'm a workaholic. I totally get it, and I still have to kind of yell at myself when I realise that I've lost track of time and I should have been in bed or whatever it is. So totally get it. Yeah. Okay, cool. So later on today, if you can, or tomorrow, whenever suits, think about some of the other stresses that are in your life. There are positive stresses and negative stresses. So it's not all bad when I talk about stress. Positive stresses, you can see, some pretty cool things on that list. It helps motivate you. It helps sharpen your mind. It's vital for your physical and mental fitness. It's good. These little things here, we're ticking the boxes and the things that help you, and I think you can probably easily identify what the positive stresses are. Negative stress doesn't fade, it builds, and that's what leads to overwhelm. Can be curbed with relaxation, positive self-talk, sure, healthy boundaries and lifestyle. Yes. Easier said than done. Easy to look at lists and go, yeah, cool, okay, no worries, I've got that. So let's have a look at what some of the stresses might be that you'll identify either with now or later. I kind of look at that and I feel a little bit overwhelmed because I know that's only a kind of preview of the stuff that we have to deal with in life, right? So studying for some people, trying to manage working from home, trying to manage working from home with kids. If you're in Victoria, hooray, lockdown's over, because I forgot how hard it is to work from home with kids and homeschooling as well. Let's hope we never have to do that again. Relationships are tough. If you've got a partner and you're trying to balance that time and love with them and also the time that you need and the love for yourself, that is really hard, let alone everything else, like arguing what to watch on Netflix. So family life, work life, the pressure we put on ourselves to make sure we work out and eat well and drink water and all these things are so much to take in. So it is tricky, but I think you can pretty quickly identify what the stresses are for you. So number 2, your sleep is suffering. This was a big one for me. I've learnt so much about what I need now, and sleep is definitely a trigger for me to be pushed down that burnout path again if I don't get the sleep I need. And for me, I experimented with it for a little while. 7 hours is good for me. I can sort of function on less than that, but it's not pretty. And I'd rather not, because I'm not going to be giving, the best of myself to all the things that I'm committed to if I'm sleep deprived. So that's a big one for me. So if your sleep is suffering, that's probably the first thing you need to have a look at. And I know that's really hard for people with kids, shift workers, like I've said down the bottom. I can hear the laughter. Like I know how ridiculous it is for someone to say, you just need more sleep. I remember how hard it was. I have my kids week on, week off now, and the weeks that I have the kids, I still have disrupted sleep, and they're nearly 8 and 5. So I totally get it. I know it sounds absurd, I don't know what the solution is. I do have actually friends of mine who take it in turns having good night's sleep. So when their kids are playing up, one of them sleeps in the spare room to get a really good solid night's sleep, and then they take it in turn. So if you have that kind of cool relationship with your partner where you can say, let's take it in turns, and for it to totally be okay, then try that. Sleep is absolutely, everything. So chat box, what time do you go to bed? And what time do you get up? And be honest here. I'm not going to yell at you, I promise. Two to 3 a.m. Eat it. I'm not going to yell at you. I said I promise. This makes me feel a little bit ill. There's some pretty good times in there. Not too bad. Some scary ones as well. But it is, again, hard when there's a few variables like kids and snorers next to you and the like. So I get it. So number 3, your bad habits seem like good coping techniques. We've touched on the booze factor. For some people, it's drinking. For some people, it's emotional eating, or it's just eating anything. We all go through different phases where we need advice to kind of get through the day, the week, the project, whatever it is that you're trying to manage. So I know it's like an easy thing to do is reach for that glass of wine or a bit of chocolate at the end of the night or whatever it is, but I'm trying to gently encourage you to see if you can swap it out for something else that's a bit better for you. I'm not a nutritionist or dietitian or anything like that, so I'm not going to be able to list for you what those better foods are. We're all pretty smart when it comes to that stuff, but if there's something that still feels like a treat for you that you can do instead of something that's bad for your health, then give it a crack. I actually started having hot chocolates, and they were like a 90% fat-free, sugar-free sort of deal. And I thought, great, it's going to taste like sandpaper, but it was actually really nice. And that is my go-to treat now. So if I feel like I need it, some nights I'm just like, whatever, cup of tea is great, water, don't need anything. And other nights I feel like I need a treat because it's been a big day or want to celebrate a win or whatever it is. So hot chocolate's one for me. What's your vice, guys? Tell me what your go-to is when you need a little fix of something or a little reward at the end of the day. I do have a few options there if you need help with deciding on what you should swap your nightly reward or vice for you. Yeah, dark chocolate, herbal tea. I can't get around herbal teas because I was so sick with my pregnancies. All I think about is morning sickness. So I'm never going back there, unfortunately. Watching maths, raw chocolate. Yeah, music, dance in the shower. Awesome. So good. I've almost injured myself a few times from doing that. So I feel you on that one. That's unreal. Treadmill and Netflix. Yeah, multitasking. Best of both worlds. Chili and cocoa tea. That sounds amazing. Unreal. Really good. So there's some actually pretty healthy ones there, which is really good. So, right, number 4, as we've touched on, your passions are all consuming. So the obsession that I had for my business in the past ruled over everything else. Having goals is awesome, but when you realize the focus on those goals is at the detriment of loved ones or other priorities in your life, it's time to reassess. So you don't have to pop something in chat box now because we've done a lot of chatting. I'm happy to continue, but just have a think about if you can relate to that. It's also something some people wouldn't want to perhaps admit, but if you're generally, the fights that you're having with your partner or friends or family because you're not giving them enough love or attention because your head's always in your laptop, have a think about that. It's okay if it's like that. It might just be time to kind of reassess and see if there's something you can do for them and for yourself that takes that little bit of pressure off. I know it can be really hard. I get it, particularly when you're on a roll and you're working on something really cool and you're on fire and the last thing you want to do is go spend time with someone because you're kicking ass. Totally get that feeling. It happens all the time. But if there's something you can do that's a bit of a compromise, so they feel like they're, needed and wanted and loved as well, and you're still getting to do all the cool stuff you want to do in your business, and that's great. Compromise, I think, is the key. I never knew how to do that, so I'm learning as I go as well. So what do you do when burnout actually hits? It's great talking about the ways to prevent it. It's great talking about the things that you can do to avoid it later on when you've had it before, but what do you actually do when it comes to you? Also keep in mind sometimes it's just there creeping around in the shadows waiting for you to stop, and that's when it hits you too. When I remember when I was younger, I grew up in the country. I remember I'd go visit my mum back in the country, and every single time I would go to visit her for the weekend, I'd get sick. Every time without fail. It wasn't her house, it was just that I'd stopped. I'd be probably well fed, I'd be looked after, I'd sleep in a nice comfy bed, and your body just goes, whoa, what is this? Hang on a second. Here you go. I'm going to make you feel like crap now. Here's the flu I've been holding off because you've been so busy, you haven't listened to your body and allowed it to get better or heal or prevent it. So the first thing you can do is hit pause. About a month ago, I was feeling like I was getting pushed down that burnout path again myself, and I was just like, as much as good a story it would make, founder of Burnout Club hits burnout, I wasn't willing to let myself get to that point for a good story. So I started to look at the things that I always preach to everyone else. I looked at the things that I've learned over the past couple of years and made sure I was actually doing them instead of talking about doing them and telling everyone else to do them. Took my own medicine, applied the things I've learned, and was able to get myself sorted within 2-3 days. It was awesome. But the first thing I did, and I know this is not possible for everyone, particularly if you have a day job as well, but I hit pause. Okay, I said to my closest colleagues, like, I am stuck. I am heading down the burnout path. I cannot do burnout right now. I'm the founder of the Burnout Club. I'm way too busy as well. I don't have the energy to do burnout again. I can't go backwards on this, so I need some help. Could you help me with this? Or would you mind taking this off my plate? I was able to reach out to my manager and told her that I hadn't been coping very well. I'd also had a really rotten week with my kids. Everything was too hard. I was so overwhelmed, and I just moved house. So because I knew I was about to move house and lose 3 days to work on the business, I had 17 hours sleep in 3 nights and then moved house. I was absolutely exhausted, and that was my stupid move. So I copped it. Karma, big time. I need sleep. So share with someone. If that's someone in your family, partner, friend, boss, whoever you can talk to, I was able to say to my boss, can I do a half day today? And I, pushed through that morning and did what I had to do. And then I took the rest of the day off, and I actually just lay on the couch, watched Netflix, napped, and I never do that. I did get bored by the end of the day and went for a walk. But if you can just kind of say, right, I need to look after myself right now. I need to make sure my health and wellness are a priority so I can continue to do what I do. It's really, really good for you. So do that. Ask for help. Put the tools down and walk away. That's really hard to do. And I nearly put that in there again, like number 8, because you do need a reminder. It's easy to get to that couch or have that rest and then just grab your phone and start checking the emails that you might be missing. So put the tools down. It's going to be okay. The world won't stop if you stop. Okay? Rest, whatever that looks like to you. If you need to sleep, sleep. If it's Netflix, do Netflix, binge something. If it's gentle exercise, do that, whatever works for you. Like I said, if you're stressing instead of resting, something that I found really helpful that I did a few weeks ago is to make a to-do soon list and a to-do later list. So instead of putting yourself under further stress and pressure by saying, holy shit, there's all these things that I need to do, I'm not going to be able to do them because I'm too busy resting and taking care of myself, do 2 lists, have them side by side, just go, right, these are the things that are fairly important that I'll need to do soon, not tomorrow, not today, soon. Take that timeline pressure off yourself, and the things that you can do later. So that might be next week, it might be next month, whatever it is. And that just releases you from that intense, heightened state of overwhelm and stress and that feeling sick in your stomach because there's so much to do and, the pressure's on. So to do soon, to do later really helps. Go gently with yourself. And I say this all the time, drop the guilt. We are our own worst enemy. and I know this because I do it as well, we set that these expectations for ourselves. We kind of believe that everyone else has them of ourselves as well. Don't know why, because they don't. They're too busy thinking about their own stuff. Just take the pressure off yourself. Stop trying to push yourself to be all of the things for all of the people all of the time. It's okay to stop. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to put your health first. It's okay to say no. I've learned so much the past 18 months about setting boundaries and sticking to them, and it's not easy, but once you've got it and once you nail it, people respect the hell out of it, and they kind of want to start doing it for themselves as well. So be really picky about where you spend your time and energy and who you spend it with as well. That's like a giant tip. If there's anything else, anything you can take away from today, that is the big one. Decide where you want to spend your time and your energy and who you want to spend it with. Set boundaries around those other things that are kind of sucking the life out of you, okay? And when you're feeling ready to, you have to prioritize your health and wellness. I know I sound like a broken record, but it is so important, and it's absolutely imperative that you learn how to do this. Otherwise, you can't keep going the way you're going. It's just not sustainable. Later on, we're going to send you the burnout kit, so there's more details about this in there. So quick fixes are really great at the time. It's really fun to get drunk with your mates, or to do a yoga retreat to get that calm back, or to go get an hour massage, or to take the afternoon off and read a good book, or whatever it is. But they're just that. They're a quick fix. They're a temporary hold on something bigger that's happening for you that you need to address. Unfortunately, these things can't be ignored. They're not going to go away. They will come back to haunt you, believe me. So don't ignore your body. Don't ignore the signs like I did. Quick little exercise. Again, you don't have to do this now if you're up for it, but have a think about what your ideal day looks like. I would suggest I would suggest that you start with taking a piece of paper and doing a list, and doing a what brings you joy list and what you do each day list, and then seeing how many of those things actually match up. It's really important to identify the tasks that you're doing every day that you're doing because you have to do them, and trying to look at ways that you could potentially delegate those and take them off your plate if they're not bringing you any good feelings at all, because it makes it really hard to continue what you're doing if you're not enjoying yourself. If you have things that you know you love to do in your business and outside of your business, see if you can do that more. See if you can bump those up to start your day with. See if there's a way to make sure you can chunk out the time in your day so you're devoting more to the joyful stuff and the happy stuff, the stuff that you thrive on and that you're good at. And then those other things, if you can't delegate them, then think about the best time of the day to get them done, get rid of them, so you've got more time for the joy. It's all about the joy. What morning and evening rituals can you start doing and know that you can stick to? I was chatting to someone on my podcast recently, and she was calling it bookends. She has a morning bookend and an evening bookend, and I know that she starts her day by making a cup of her favourite tea and just sitting quietly on her deck for 10 minutes. And that's just her thing every morning. Her partner knows not to disturb her. Sometimes her dog comes out and she just chills and she just sits there, and it's calm and quiet, and she thinks. And in the evening, she'll dim her lights, she'll light candles, whatever it is, that's a way to kind of give her body and mind a sign that it's time to kind of wind down and get ready for rest. Another thing to keep in mind is who makes you belly laugh. I'm really lucky to have a couple of people in my life that just make me cackle and always make me feel good after I've spoken to them. I would have a little list of however many people that is for you, and make sure you've got them on speed dial if you don't already. And if you're feeling rubbish and you just need a boost and you need some love and you need some laughter, give someone on that list a call. If you've got time, ring them all. And then, as I mentioned, if there's ways that you can signal to your body and mind that it's time for rest at the end of the day, have a think about what that looks like for you. For some people, it might be meditation or mindfulness. I'm not very good at that. I wish I was, but I know that works really well for some. Others, it might be just listening to some quiet music. Could be reading. Definitely shouldn't be looking at your phone or doing one last check of instant notifications before you go to bed.